Hi. In today's video, I wanted to talk about productivity. Now, this is a word that brings up a lot of stress for people, and we're often asking ourselves, have I been productive this week? Maybe we're working really hard and long hours, but our job is telling us that we're still not productive enough. Or we're out there and we're using those tools and those hacks for productivity, but we're still not meeting our goal. Well, if this sounds familiar, then this video will be for you. Hi, my name is Erika Bischoff. I am a licensed clinical social worker, and I have over 15 years experience specializing in cognitive behavior therapy, and I love providing therapy tools for everyone. In today's video, I wanted to talk about how we often underestimate our own productivity, when in fact, we're probably doing a lot more than we think we are. And I want to show this in 3 ways. The first is, how do we more accurately assess the expectations in productivity, right? To set us up for success. The second is identifying an important but often missing component to good productivity. And the third is, what does the research and evidence say about how we go about getting that best productivity? And I think by learning these 3 things, it will really help build your confidence in productivity. So in this first part, we want to figure out if the expectations for productivity that are set on us, are they realistic or unrealistic, right? Are they setting us up for success or setting us up to fail? Meaning, like, no matter how hard we work or how many tools and hacks we use, we're still not going to meet our goal. So how do we do this? Well, I often give my clients a handout, and in this handout is a simple formula that they can use to help determine how realistic those expectations are. So let's take a look at the handout. And on the handout is a triangle. And on the triangle are 3 components to productivity: quality, time, and resources. And up at the top is quality. That is the quality of our productivity, right? The outcome, the final product of all of our hard work. And in most cases, we're looking for optimal quality. But how do we get that? Well, one of the ways is through resources, right? That could be our budget. How much money do we have? It could be information. Do we have the most accurate, up-to-date information? Or it could just be our own well-being. Do I have the mental capacity right now to do the quality work? Now, if we have these optimal resources, we're going to have optimal quality. But if we start taking away these resources, right, a budget cut, we limit information, or we're burnt out, well, the quality is going to go down. But if the expectation is still for optimal quality, despite the fact that we have limited resources, now we have an unrealistic expectation. So the second component is time, right? And if we want quality productivity, we need ample and sufficient time to meet our goals, right? We need time to do research, to do the work, to review, edit, catch any kind of mistakes. But if someone starts taking away that time, let's say they move up a deadline, well, now we no longer have ample and sufficient time for the quality of work. So another example of this could be is if someone gives us 10 hours of work and tells us to get it done in 8 hours, but they want the quality of 10 hours, well, that is an unrealistic expectation. Because if we're trying to get 10 hours of work done in 8 hours, we're probably going to have to rush. We're going to miss things and make mistakes, and therefore the quality has gone down. So remember, to have optimal quality, we need optimal time and optimal resources. And this is the formula. If you start taking away time and resources, you're gonna have to start taking away quality. And this is really important to understand. I hear it all the time, is expectations of perfectionism or excellence, despite the fact that there are limited time and resources. And what this does is it sets us up to fail. And the failure is in the expectation, not necessarily in us or the work that we do. So again, it is really important to be able to accurately assess the expectations for our productivity. So the second area around productivity that I wanted to talk about is a component that is often missed and sometimes not even seen as part of productivity, but is really important. Now, when we think of productivity, we often think of work, work, and more work. But what we miss is rest and recharge. And this is an essential part of productivity. Because if we do not allow our bodies and our brains to step back from the work, right? We're going to run the risk that we are going to overwork and burn out and put our productivity at risk. So an analogy I often give my clients is our smartphones. Now, our smartphones are incredibly productive, right? Output is high, quality is high. But if we're not periodically recharging our phones, well, then we are going to drain the battery and then they're no longer going to work. And so that is very similar to us, because if we're not periodically taking time to rest and recharge, well, we're going to drain our own internal batteries, and then we're no longer going to be able to work to be productive. So with rest and recharge, we can have different intervals. We can have short ones, right? We work for 50 minutes of focus work, and then we have 10 minutes by which we step back from that work. We get up, we move around, we get some water, food, and then we come back to resume another 50 minutes of focus work, and we repeat those intervals. We can have a little bit longer, right? We can have a longer lunch period, or we can have a couple hours after work that we can decompress, detach from our work, and hopefully get a good night's sleep. And then we can have even longer intervals with proper vacation time. And so no matter the type of interval that you use, it's really important to remember that all of those types of rest and recharge are important and essential for you to be able to work at your best. This leads to the third part. What does the research say about productivity? Well, what's really interesting is the research is showing that a 33-hour work week can significantly increase productivity compared to the traditional 40-hour work week, right? And this 33-hour work week is showing to reduce stress and burnout while also improving well-being and job satisfaction. So how does it do that? Well, typically this 33-hour work week is being compressed into 4 days. And in this compressed week, what it is showing is that it is increasing focus and efficiency, right? And this is improving our ability to prioritize and reduce the time being spent on unproductive activities. So what is also important to understand in this research is that at the 33-hour mark, that is kind of when we're hitting the peak of our productivity. And everything after that is kind of having diminishing returns over the longer period. Now, this research is significant enough that there are companies and even countries that are adapting this 33-hour work week, right? Because the evidence clearly shows that it increases productivity. Now, I'll put a link to a couple of these research studies in the description box below. Well, I really hope you found this information helpful. If you have, please hit the like button, subscribe, notifications. And remember, before you even start the work, make sure you have realistic expectations. And while you're working, make sure that you are resting and recharging. And 3, know the evidence that working longer consecutive hours is not going to result in better productivity. And I really believe that if you remember these 3 things, that you will build your confidence to be more effective in your productivity. And so as always, if you have any questions or you want to hear about different topics around therapy and therapy tools, please put in the comments below. And so until the next video, thanks.